If you would like to get your song reviewed, dear listener, there's the Filthy Capitalist option. As Sori says, $125 gets you straight to the head of the line. You don't have to be a part of the alliance. You don't have to be part of the group.
Wait a minute.
And the biggest thing is you don't have to wait. You hop, skip, and jump right in front of everybody. $125 gets you there. You do that 3 times, and then get mashed down to the $75 rate for perpetuity.
Yes!
Also, there is a band review option. So if you've got a band and you're trying to get your band some exposure, hit me up at vinsori@gmail.com, and I'll show you the details about how to pull that off.
You can also jump on Patreon, and there is a option on the tiers to be able to get your band reviewed. Yep. Obviously, we can't lie to you, so we can't guarantee a positive review. Get what you get.
It's just rubbish.
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 That's British for garbage.
My favorite is the community option. $1 at the gate gets you in a Patreon. You get to join an alliance. The alliance joins their points together, and that helps determine what songs that we do.
The alliances hang out on Discord.
Message me on Patreon to get the link.
And they do all kinds of other cool things. They do Minecraft, Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah. It's really a community within the community. Anybody can go in the village, facebook.com/Vin and Sori. There's 160,000+ people on the channel. What's cool about the Discord is that it offers a real opportunity for community connection, friendship, that type of thing.
And it's on Discord, so if you're not a Facebook person, it's for you.
You start off at $1.
Right.
Plus you get exclusives. Sori and I are working on a song. So the first 15 seconds of that was on Patreon. Also, at $15 tier and above, when we actually debut the video, they're going to be there live with us. There you are, dear listener.
Buy our merch.
Buy our merch indeed. Shall lead them.
To buy our merch, okay?
Yes, dear listener.
Code Slammer.
Code Slammer!
DJ Stream. The next song on our list is Bloodbath Hades Rising for Aaron Rose. Aaron Rose got this on our list, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes, the big homie Code Slammer generously
donated 10 freaking songs to the village.
Freaking songs to the village, and these are the songs that made the cut, shall you say. That's hard.
Slow dancing part.
Damn. Okay. That's very
It's very what?
educational for me, man.
Why?
First of all, the way they did the breakdown was crazy. Like it was probably one of the most unique breakdowns you're gonna hear. Look how they did this breakdown.
Just provoke beyond the mark of God.
It's like it's right here, I think. Yeah, right here. Just one note.
Yep.
I love that shit. That's so original to me, like that kind of a breakdown.
Okay, yeah.
Instead of just, because me, you know me when I do breakdowns, I just let it ring out for a second, then it goes dun 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 dun.
Yeah,
dun,
but
dun,
to
dun,
keep
dun,
doing
dun,
that
dun,
one,
dun.
yeah.
It's just one chord. Like I love that shit, and then what they did with the energy was they used the lead guitar and the drums to carry the energy.
Yep.
Not just usually for a breakdown or in the middle, whatever you want to call it, they'll use the rhythm guitar's riffage to really carry it. But the rhythm guitar just was kind of there, and then they used the lead and the drums to carry it, which kind of flips everything on its head, which if you're not into guitar or whatever, it really doesn't matter. But I really, really, really love that shit. I really love the way people do that shit because it's I like stuff that's original. Because it's, you know, you're always searching to try to be original as a guitarist or whatever, or artist, whatever you want to call it. But it's very hard to come up with something original that sounds good or does the job. You see what I'm saying? Like,
I mean,
it's very hard to
conceptually,
get something to do the
babe.
job.
I've never done it myself, so.
Well, yeah. I mean, I think once you get over whatever and start really, you know,
tapping until my
and then you'll really
art.
be able to have your contributions, then it'll be like legit. But somebody said something like Cookie Monster stepped on a Lego.
Yes, I saw that.
You know the Cookie Monster
oh boy.
Yeah. I love BC. BC's such a bitter person. Look at this. Christianity is a reason I don't believe anything about society, and you are full of crap.
Oh.
Shout out to BC. Inshallah, he or she gets some peace at some point in life.
I know.
It's not looking too promising at this point. Yeah.
Oh man. Okay. Every single time I see that, behold the mark of Cain.
Yeah.
Because uncreated, the Genesis devoured by the abyss. It doesn't sound like vengeance provoked, behold the mark of Cain. It doesn't sound like, a lot of times people misunderstand what the mark of Cain is.
Yes, and I believe these brothers have also
made the mistake. Well,
made the error.
Yeah, it's interesting because it's like, I know there's a lot of cool stuff about our religion that would be awesome to make music out of, but if you don't know the details, then you should ask someone who does. Although there are lots of Christians who misunderstand the mark of Cain as well.
Yeah. Well, the most terrifying horror movie of all time, I think, it would be if somebody made if like Graham Stoker's or Clive, whatever his name is, really understood what we were talking about in 70 AD.
Oh, ridiculous. I thought of it the entire time we talked about it. I said, holy moly, this would make such an amazing horror film.
It's actually one of the reasons I wanted to go home. I didn't want to be outside. I wanted to go home.
Oh,
really? Yeah. I'm like, nah, I just want to go home. Want to be around the kids. Oh,
that's so funny.
Because the shit is terrifying.
Yeah, well, it is. It really is. So the mark of Cain, basically, for those of you, I'm pretty sure everybody's familiar with the story, but Cain and Abel were brothers, and Cain, it kind of looks like there was some jealousy issues between him and his brother, and he ends up killing his brother because, God comes to him and basically tries to warn him and say, sin is trying to come after you, but you have to rule over it, and that's kind of like what we were talking about yesterday, is that you might have evil thoughts, you might have horrible feelings and blah, 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 but you have to essentially rule over those things that come to you. And so he was telling Cain, you have to rule over it or else it's going to rule over you.
Yeah.
Cain decides he's not going to man up and rule over it, and in which case he ends up killing his brother. Well, after that,
God shows up to him and says, hey man, where's your brother?
Dude, what? Am I my brother's keeper? Well, am I supposed to know where he is?
He says,
he knows damn well where he was.
I don't know. Then he says that famous line, am I my brother's keeper?
Right.
And all the libertarians says, hell no, you're not your brother's keeper. Every man for himself. Hey, right. Boo, boo, boo. And God says, what is this? Your brother's blood is crying out to me on the ground. And God's like, now I got to punish you, bro. And he's like, so you're going to be a wanderer in the earth. And Cain was he's a field guy. So Cain responds to God and says, I'm
so sorry of what I did to my brother.
Right, seduct.
No, not at all.
Actually, what he says is, the punishment you've given me is too much for me to bear. Now whoever finds me will kill me.
In other words, somebody's going to give me the same treatment I gave my brother, but they have good reason to, and so I'm fearful of that.
Right. So then God says, not so. And in the Hebrew, it basically is, hell no, I won't let that happen to you.
And then, boop.
The narrator says that God puts a mark on Cain so that everybody knew not to fuck with Cain because God was going to be his bodyguard. That's the mark of Cain, is God's promise to protect Cain from justice because God is merciful.
Right.
So as soon as Cain hears that and he knows that God is a man of his word, Cain goes,
we out.
Oh. Then it says, Cain went out from the presence of the Lord. He left.
Yep.
And basically God, he had his back to God the entire time, yep. But God was functioning as Cain's bodyguard.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
Somehow that mark showed everybody, whoa, Yahweh's protecting this guy, so we can't touch him even though he deserves to die. Mm-hmm. So the mark of Cain is actually God's grace towards Cain.
And mercy on him.
And mercy towards Cain. And then it goes off and says that he goes and has children and all the rest of this stuff. And
he makes a city?
Yeah, he builds a city.
Oh, but I see where you're going with the kids. Yeah.
Yeah, well, the scripture says that children are a reward from God.
That's why you have so many rewards.
That's why so many rewards. So not only does God reward Cain with sustaining in his life, but he also rewards Cain by multiplying his life. Mm-hmm. And then Cain builds a city, and then Cain's kids begin to build society and music and Tubal Cain and all, like the musicians. So that's where the term avenged sevenfold came from, was because God says, anybody who I will avenge Cain sevenfold on behalf,
So 7 times as much as what's done to him is going to be done to that person.
Yeah. So
then people went all crazy with it, and that's when you had your first rap song.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. So God was protecting. So the mark of Cain, when it says "Behold the mark of Cain," it means behold
the mercy.
Behold a merciful God who will protect.
Who doesn't give what man deserves, but rather gives to him mercy and grace.
Correct.
But I believe that the fellows of Bloodbath didn't know that.
Right. I think they think the mark of Cain is some like curse.
Vengeance or like, a curse that God has given him.
Yeah, that God cursed Cain somehow.
Yes, Perk.
Yeah.
Well said.
Of course, Perk always says that.
Hey, you see this?
What? See what?
He was going sideways with it. I think it's something you would like.
Okay.
Anyway.
So yeah. I hope all of you one of these days will be marked with the mark of Cain, inshallah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I agree with Johnny. It's a very sinister sounding breakdown. Cleave the covenant and powers that grant, bury the testament, tumbled by torment. So to cleave the covenant means to break the covenant. And a covenant is...
Oh, really? Break the covenant?
Yeah, cleave.
I was thinking of cleave like bring it close.
Like a
meat cleaver.
Meat cleaver. Or as Code Slammer says, the curse of forgiveness. That's a good one.
Wow.
That's a very good line, Code Slammer. The curse of forgiveness. We should probably... That's probably what we should title that Cain and Abel song that me and Sarcast wrote.
Yep. Copyright it.
We'll call it The Curse of Forgiveness. So when you see our band come out with a song entitled The Curse of Forgiveness, that's you, buddy.
Yeah, but I bet if you said it in another language, it'd sound even cooler.
Yeah.
Like, what is curse? The curse is like a really...
Perkinos, get us the Latin. Get us the Latin for The Curse of Forgiveness. Okay. So cleave the covenant and powers that grant.
I did like the way that he said it.
Oh yeah,
nocturnal and fertile.
The rhythm is insane. The rhythm is crazy. The rhythm is insane. So to cleave the covenant means to separate the covenant between God and man, I'm assuming, and God almost never. I was listening to a guy once. It was actually Sproul's son, and he was talking about God never has a personal relationship with anybody. And he was saying this when he was in the bar, basically, to get approved to be a pastor. He says, God never has a personal relationship with anybody. They're like, what are you talking about? And he was talking about how when God makes covenants, he never makes a covenant with a singular person. It's always that person and their children. Always. That children or their family. So what happens is that God comes and says, I'll be your God, you'll be my people, here are the terms of the agreement. It's like a marriage contract type of situation. That's a covenant. It's like a promise. And what happens here is he says, cleave the covenant and the powers that grant, bury the testament, tumbled by torment. Which again, if he knew his Bible, he would realize that that's also true. Because we are always going to break covenant with God. So it is also true that the covenants always get cleaved or ripped to shreds or broken or buried.
That's the which covenant? So remember there was the one covenant where like they split the animal in two, and then God had him hold back, and he went through like he didn't even have him. Yeah,
the reason they would call it cutting a covenant, and what would happen is they would take an animal and they would split it in two, and then they would walk between the two dead bloody animals. Well, the one animal who's just been split in two, and the reason for that was it was basically they were each saying to each other, if I violate the terms of the covenant,
may I be like this animal.
May I be like this animal. Well, God enters into covenant with Abraham, and Abraham goes into this trance, and what ends up happening is God does that with the animals, but only God walks through it. Abraham does not walk through it. And the reason for that is obvious. God knows that Abraham is going to break the terms of the covenant on a multitude of times. And God is saying, you are going to break the covenant, but may I be like this animal if you do that.
Oh, I thought he was saying if he breaks the covenant, let him be like that animal.
Well,
he's saying even if you break it, then let me break.
That's a foreshadow of the fact that that's exactly what's going to happen to Christ on the cross because we are covenant breakers. So God is bearing the penalty of our breaking the covenant. And so, torment, yes, because Christ had to bear the splitting of his body, soul, and spirit. He had to bear that torment because we would cleave the covenant. So None of these lyrics are offensive to me as a Christian. They're
No.
telling the gospel story. Please give me
Thank
more.
you. Thank you,
Throw
Bloodbath.
the little homie into the briar patch. BC says, you're not making any sense at all. Basically, BC, what it means is because we cannot keep faithful to God, God bears the punishment for our lack of faithfulness in order to maintain our relationship with Him. That's the point. Profane, arcane, benediction of Bane. This guy can write, boy. Falling through the cracks of darkness. Umbubration. I don't even know what that word means. Kingdoms quake, mountains move, skies collapse, sulfur descending, suns eclipse, seas overflow, end of days, Hades rising. Oh my God! This is all the stuff we've been studying so far!
It means shade, darken, or cloud. I guess. Oh, I see. Kingdoms quake, mountains move, skies collapse. Yes. Oh my goodness, there's so much that could be said.
Yeah, we'd have to do a Bible boogie on that little quote. Basically,
End of days, Hades rising.
Sadakt.
A rising.
Okay.
Wow.
So long story short,
I don't know how you're gonna give a Reader's Digest here, babe.
I don't. We'll shoot a Bible boogie on that line because we're having too much fun with that one. The Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost, tridents penetrate, steel and flesh conjugate, vaporize the spirits of distress, Sabaoth of legions, redder the regions. This is probably talking about, what do you call it? Crusaders who acting in the name of God. This is such a brilliant line. Steel and flesh conjugate.
I know.
That is brilliant.
And brought forth death rather than life.
In Sabaoth of legions, you know the Lord of Sabaoth, the old way of saying the Lord of armies, the God of armies, the God of war.
Is Sabbath?
Yeah, Sabaoth. And redder the regions. This guy can write.
What does that mean, red of the regions?
Well, he can make the regions, make the land red.
Oh,
basically.
bloodier?
Bloody.
Oh my gosh!
Because people who are marching in the name of the Trinity are murdering people at wholesale, right?
Jeez.
Which obviously you cannot harmonize with a New Testament ethic for sure. Time in reverse. The Godhead's rear, the blood divine splattered on the three-pronged spear. The dagger of night, heart stabbed and cloaked. The banishing of the fallen one has been revoked. That would be the devil. And,
right. Yeah.
We do believe that also happened at a specific time in history, but again, we don't have the time.
You're going to have to tune into the Bible Boogie. If you're watching this and you're like, I too would like an invite, then send us an email at vinandsori@gmail.com
Why would you do that?
and tell Vinny you'd like to hear that information.
Ignore what she just said.
And
because if you do that, I'm going to ignore that email.
But he's not like that. He's going to say he's going to ignore, but I don't believe he will.
I'm really
Especially if
ignore it.
you put your sob story in there and tell why. No, it doesn't have to be.
The Bible Boogie is invite only.
I'm serious. So ask them for an invite.
She said that.
Ask them for an invite
only, and if you have to ask for it, you're most likely not going to get an invite. I'm very, 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 very sorry.
Maybe.
Okay. I really liked the song. Lyrically, it was great. Michelle said the lyrics were beautiful. I agree. Those are really, really beautiful lyrics. I love the song. This is actually one of my favorite songs for who selected this song?
Whoa, really? This is for the big homie Aaron Rose.
Rate the song. Shout out to Aaron Rose. Gang.
6.5 for me.
What'd you say?
6.5.
9.7.
Yo.
Really, really good song. Really, really good song. I really, really love this song.
All right. Whatever.
I'm glad we got Johnny and Sadie in the house for Goth Mom for show.
Yes.
All right.
Oathbreaker is next.
Oathbreaker?
No, it's called Oathbreaker. I said Oathbreakers, and then I misrepresented the band, so I fixed it. And then you turned it into this big embarrassing thing. I'm just kidding. All right, Oathbreakers next, you guys.
Vin out.
Sori out.
Go.